Hello, my knitty friends. Welcome to Hudson Valley Knits. I am Amy, also known as Memers on Ravelry and Memers66 on Instagram and Twitter. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I am in the house today because one of the things I want to show you is not something I can take outside. It is a warm and beautiful day out today. It was a little gray this morning, but it's nice and sunny out now. But it's getting late, and I hope I don't lose all the light I'm getting. I have so much to talk to you about. I'm so excited about so many things, and I can't wait to share them with you. First of all, let me go over, I have a little bit of a scratchy throat, so I apologize. I have a lozenge in my mouth. I've been breaking out with coughs and whatnot. The senior level along is on again this year, so start knitting your washcloths. And I have put up a finished object thread in the Ravelry group for you to post the pictures of your washcloths. So start getting those in. I also have finalized your, hope you have finalized your lists of 2015 goals. I also have put a finished object thread for that, and I'm going to share my goals with you. I don't know if I did that, and I know I haven't put it up yet, and I'm going to put that up before this goes online. I want to say just really quick to the people that volunteered for the Adopt a Senior. They still have not filled the woman Molly's position yet, so I am not able to firm up anything with you on that. Please be patient with me. I will make this happen. Even if I have to go to another nursing home, I'll make it happen. So hang tight. We're going to do this. All right. I've been listening to more podcasts lately. Usually I just do podcasts where I am sitting at my desk right here, just like this, knitting and watching podcasts. I like to see things. I'm a very visual person. And but I also have a 1-hour commute. And normally I just listen to the Knitmore Girls and Butterfly Knits. But lately I've been picking up a lot more podcasts. I intend on checking out New Hampshire Knits soon. But one of the ones I wanted to tell you about, because I know there's a lot of people out there that have their little crafty businesses, whether it's designing patterns or sewing bags and having their little Etsy shops. I've been listening to a podcast by Tara Swiger called Explore Your Enthusiasm. She is like a marketing kind of small business coach, and she specializes on crafty kind of businesses or creative businesses. And I just wanted to highly recommend her podcast. So go check her out. She's also a knitter, but she has a lot of great information on her podcast that she gives out for free. I first heard of her because she wrote a book for Cooperative Press called Market Yourself, which I bought. And it's a really good book. So I wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of you ladies have your own little crafty businesses. And go for it. It's a lot of good information for free. And another one I haven't listened to New Hampshire Knits yet, but I heard of it through Fiber Trek podcast, and I'll be listening to that one soon too. But so I'm kind of taking a break from the audiobooks right now and just listening to podcasts in the car. The other thing I wanted to bring up is I participated in the virtual knit night with Butterfly Knits Podcast. Emily, it was so wonderful. If you get a chance to do a virtual knit night with one of the podcasts, you should really do it. That's how I met Sharon from Moms with Yarn. Her and I met on Blooming Knitters virtual knit night, and now Emily from Butterfly Knits is doing it. So really check it out. Listen to her podcast. She announces them on the podcast. I don't think she announces them on the on her Ravelry boards. But we really had a great time. And I've thought about doing it before, but I don't know if I would get enough people. But so I just kind of go on other podcasts, virtual knit nights, and it's nice to meet a lot of people. So I wanted to put that out there too. So if you're interested, check out Emily. And she's been doing videos as well now too. So she's changing it up. And like I said, I really prefer videos because you get to see everything and it's so much better that way. So that being said, let me go in. I've done a ton of knitting, but I don't have a lot to show you. I'm back down to my comfort level. I usually don't have more than 2 or 3 projects on the needles. And right now, you see me knitting on my Ice Shanty sweater by Amy Miller. And it's using my Heartland yarn from Miss Babs in the colorway Pewter. And 2 weeks ago, I was down by the river and I showed you I just cast this piece on. So this is another one of the back panels. Let me get this centered. Yeah. I am going to love this sweater. This is in my Amy Beth project bag, my Snowy Gnomes. So this is the other back panel. This is the back piece 1. And this is the back piece 2. Almost done. And then this is the right neck piece. I have to do another neck piece after this, and I have to do the pockets and then the cape-like collar, which is going to be in this violet purple color. This is also the Heartland yarn from Miss Babs. I have that Heartland in, this color is called Violaceous. Violaceous. Heartland Knits. Oops, upside down. Love this yarn. Alright, so that's the progress. This is, obviously, I've been doing a lot of knitting on this. Well, for me, this is a lot. I'm loving it, though. Really loving it. I can't wait to wear it. And I look forward to sewing it together. The other project I have on the needles is just my mastered socks by Hunter Hammerson, knit with Jill Draper Splendid sock yarn in the colorway Campfire, right? Is it Campfire? Fireside. I got it right. I'm knitting these on oops, dropped one of my needles. I'm knitting these on my signature size 2 DPNs. So the one thing I have to say is, so this is the second sock, and I just finished the heel flap. Let me pick up my needle. Sorry about that. It's disappeared. This pattern is written for 64 stitches, but it doesn't give any sizing. It just gives one size, and because I have a bigger foot or a bigger ankle circumference, I knit it on a bit bigger needle. Usually I knit my socks with like 72 stitches on size 1, but not this time. So let me show you the other one so you can see the finished one. I blocked it out. I showed this last week outside too. The only thing I would do differently is I would make the cuff a little longer. I did do one. I blocked this out too. It's really nice and soft. I did do one repeat more than she called for, but I mean, heck, I could have done this much more, maybe 1.5 inches more. Anyway, these are coming along nice. I'll definitely have sock left over. I've been dreaming about sock blankets, and I really want to do one, and I was seriously thinking about putting a sock blanket on my goals for this year to at least start one. And I decided not to because I have another blanket and that I'm going to make one of my stretch goals is to finish my Carson blanket, which I don't have out to show you, but I have the project page set up. Anyway, back to whips. That's it for the whips. Those are the only two things I'm actively working on right now. Mark's sweater is in hiatus until the kitchen's done. I'll talk about that later. Because I'll need the space to block out the front and the back. And then I can knit the shoulder pieces, what do you call them? The little shoulder pieces, and then I'll pick up and I'll knit the sleeves. And that's it. So I'm just waiting until I can block out the front and the back. Spinning wise, I've done very, very little spinning, like practically none. But I wasn't able to show you my Highland Handmade that I was working on last week because I didn't have my wheel down by the river. But I am knitting Winter Wheat by Highland Handmaids. It's a merino silk blend. I'm still on the first bobbin, so very little done so far. But here, this reminds me of winter. A beautiful, clean, and beautiful fluffy winter snow. It's called wheat, but I don't know. I can see how this looks like wheat and this looks like the blue sky. It's going to be beautiful spun up. It's spinning up rather thick. I'm really trying still. This is, if you remember, I knit some merino. I spun up some merino from Hedgehog Fibers. And I told you that I was having a hard time getting the right twist for it. I was getting a hard time drafting it well. It ended up being very thick. And so I'm trying to figure out how to spin up this merino so that it comes out really nice. So I grabbed this one to get more practice spinning merino. And when I show you my new stash, you'll see I have even more merino I can practice on. So that's the spinning. I can show you the spindle. I only have done maybe a couple of ponies since I last showed you. So not much new. Here is the Gourmet Stash ponies in the Holiday Aftermath color. I don't want to crinkle too much. It's not really too shiny to get the colors, but this is really grays and greens and blues with pops of color. It's really beautiful. I can't wait to apply this up and use it. I don't know what for though. I only have 2 ounces. But maybe I can, maybe I could, I don't know. Maybe I could do one of those block shawls that Emily did from Fibertown. She did a cowl and she used all her Gourmet Stash pony yarn for it. That would be a very good idea. We'll see. So, I did not spin it all on the Erin Make Stuff spindle, which I was going to do practice plying on the fly, but I haven't done any of that. I did do a lot more knitting than it appears. I got the bug. First of all, I'm getting a new kitchen, as you know, and so as you can imagine, I'm getting this clean up and reorganize the house bug, and it's kind of extended into my stash. So I have this stash. Did I put it away? Excuse me. I have this stash here. This is all left over from my one of my Rhinebeck sweaters, which was this Alice Starmore Fair Isle sweater. Here's the swatch where you can kind of see the design. You might remember me. I know I've worn it before on the podcast. So I don't know if I'm saying it right. It's a Luxembourg pattern sweater cardigan. So I have all this extra 2-ply Hebridean Hebridean. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Gorgeous yarn, and I've had it in my stash for 2 years, and I put it on D-Stash on Ravelry. Nobody wanted it, and I'm like, well, I got the itch for some Fair Isle, and I'm trying to remember. I was watching a podcast or listening to a podcast, and that's what did it. I think it was just Run Knit was showing. I think it's her pattern. She was a hat pattern and gloves, and it was color work. And I'm like, gosh, I miss doing some Fair Isle color work, and so I did this. It's Snawheed by Kate Davies. And instead of doing it in the 2 colors, I kind of did a gradient from this one to this one and back and forth. And then I just took some of my favorite colors from the sweater and did the snowflake pattern with that. And you might have seen on Instagram, I did a little poll on Instagram as to what color should I make the pom. I'm sorry about the direction. What color should I make the pom-pom? And it ended up being the light orchidy purple. Love this hat. It's not very stretchy. I mean, it's stretchy, but it doesn't bounce back much. So it's like once it's stretched out, it stays that way. But I really, really love it. It's not my warmest hat. My other hat, that big bulky green one that I knit with the Dragonfly Fiberworks, that's definitely warmer than this. But it's really beautiful, isn't it? And I still have tons of yarn left. But this is how I attach my pom-poms, because I might have to... Sorry, guys. I might have to wash the hat. So what I do is I tie some crochet cotton, and I just tie it with a bow inside the hat. I don't really stitch it in permanently. So then I just untie the bow, and I can take off the pom-pom, wash the hat, plump it up, good to go. So that I did pretty quick. I think I knit it all last weekend. It was done. And then I started thinking about my goals and how, one of them, a big one, is to de-stash, and how I bought things with plans, and I'm like, what can I get rid of real quick? I really feel like I'm doing all this sweater knitting, and I'm doing this sock knitting that has this, intricate lace and pattern on it, and lots of concentration and counting is needed. And then the Fair Isle was really quick. I just gave it away. So I wanted something potato chippy, non-thinking, just knit, and I ended up making these. So these are not from a pattern. As a matter of fact, I just kind of cast on. When I knit the first one, oh, this is the wrong side. But I did a better job. So I kind of had 2 skeins of this Angora, and the Angora is from, I'm calling them Fluffy Bunny knits, by the way. Did I write down where the Angora is from? I didn't. It's in my pattern notes, but the Angora was, and I put the spares away. I got it at Vogue Knitting Live. I think it's called, the vendor was called Some Bunny Loves You. And I bought enough for 2 gloves. This is hand spun by the owner of the business. And I bought 2 that she said was roughly DK weight. And I bought this little blue. She sold little mini skeins of, I think it was like 20 yards of this blue. And I did that just to have a little trick for using up the trim, which I'll tell you about. Using up all your yarn. So what I did is I had to cast the first one on, rip it out a few times because I wasn't getting the gauge I wanted. I did want it a little loose. The first time it was too tight, then it was too loose, and then I decided I wanted to make it wider here, and then I kind of decreased a few up here so that it wouldn't be floppy around my fingers, but I didn't want it too tight around my fingers. And then I did this second one, but this second one was a separate skein. There were two separate skeins. This was spun up a lot thicker and a lot more inconsistently, so this one came out a lot different than the first one, even though I kind of used the same recipe. You can see it's a little shorter, even though I used up the whole entire skein. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, but I still love it. I love it. Now what I did was I bought this blue Angora here so that when I knit this up, I just knit up until the skein was gone. I put the thumb on hold, and then I knit a few rows, and then I went back, and from the other end of the ball, I knit the thumb. So then I didn't have to worry about running out of yarn for thumb. And then I put the trim on for looks. And then I just kept knitting until I ran out of yarn. And then what I did, because like I said, I like the, not too much, but I like a little bit of snugness around the fingers to keep them warm, right? You don't want them flopping open. So what I did was I did 2 rows of this blue and I did it a little tighter with a smaller needle, and I didn't do it in the ribbing. And that just kind of snugs it up a little and enables me to not have to worry about having enough yarn to bind off, right? Because I have this blue, and this way I could use up all of this beautiful silvery blue Angora bunny. And let me tell you, this is so luxurious. It's like creamy, liquidy softness. I don't know how else to describe it. But when you go and you get a manicure and you stick your hands in the paraffin thing, and it's just creamy and soft, that's what it feels like putting these gloves on. I love it. Love it. I've been wearing them a lot. And I did it without the fingers because I knew I could have done mittens if I had knit them a little snugger, more snugly, and but I didn't because I like having my fingers free to mess with my phone while I'm driving, like if I need to change a song or something like that. I don't text and drive. I don't look at my phone just for music or podcasts or whatever. I'm sorry, guys. So I really enjoyed knitting these, and they are on my project page, and I wanted to let you know that it's not really a pattern, but I did do some shaping, and I did write up what I did on my project page. So if you want to copy what I did some decreases up here, and what my cast on was. It's all written out on the project page, so it's kind of like, it's not really, well, it's kind of like a pattern. So go check it out on my Ravelry page. I think it's called Fluffy Bunny Knits. That is it for show and tell. Oh, no. I have stash enhancement. So I've been part of the Hedgehog Sock and Fiber Club, and I got my last of the first 3-month club. And Twist Sock came in the colorway Flash Dance, and it's showing up a little more neon than it really is. The purple and the pink are not that bright, but I'm in love with this. As you may, well, I just don't think there's anything of hers that I don't like. So this was the yarn. I also signed up for another 3 months of her sock yarn one where I'll get 2 skeins. I did not, however, sign up for the fiber. And here's the reason. I love Hedgehog fibers, and I don't think she's dyed a color ever that I don't like. But I'm not really crazy about all the sparklies. Every installment has had sparkle in it, and I'm not I'm getting tired of sparkle, to be honest with you. I really wish I'm not buying any more sparkle, and she was putting sparkle in everything. So I'm not going to do the fiber, and I don't need any more fiber, and I'll get my fix with her sock yarn, which I can either make a Stevens shawl with or some socks. We'll see. Yeah, so that's all the enhancement. I'm so sorry. I've been just kind of borderline sick all weekend. Like I'm getting a cold. And it like hasn't really hit me kind of thing. So a little congested, not too much. A little bit of a cough, not too bad. So all right. Oh, I wanted to show you a couple more things I want to talk to you about. I know I'm going on about a lot. I have something I'm going to frog, so I figure I'd show you that. Let me take these off. I brought it up a couple of weeks ago that I'm designing a pattern for a sweater. It'll be my first sweater pattern. I'm real excited about it. And I have been working on this. I'm just going to show you, this is kind of like a mini sampler. I'm trying to figure out how to make it so that I can have the lining of the pockets green. I don't know if I'm making it too complicated. I know I want to knit it in the round. So I'm just still working on how I want to structure this. But let me show you the original idea swatch. I was originally going to design it as a flat piece. This is with Jill Draper Makes Stuff Rockefeller yarn. And I'm going to email her soon and ask her to dye up some of this brown for me, because I'm going to knit, after I'm done with this sweater for me, I'm going to knit up a sample of this and then get that pattern written up. I just need to decide how I want to knit it up. And this might not necessarily be the color work design in the top. I might change that up a little. I don't know. But I've also been working a lot on that. I really love this Rockefeller yarn. It's a really great sweater yarn. I highly recommend it. All right, so that is all my knitting and spinning. Now let me show you what I'm going to frog. I started a while back a project from Knitting and Stories and Stitches by Ava Coleman and Donna Dracunis, and they had a pattern in the last one called Peace Socks, and it was by Donna, and it's a double knit pair of socks, and at the cuff is the word peace in Japanese. And I started it. Here's the inside, and I really I'm using my Plucky Knitter, I think it's Plucky Feet. And I've just decided that, see inside, it's going really, really slow. I'm not really enjoying the double knitting experience. It just doesn't make sense to me. I really don't need a sock that's 2 layers thick. And why bother when you can't see the inside? Why bother making a double knitted sock? I could see making a double knitted cowl though. And what I was thinking about doing is I'm going to frog this, and I was thinking about taking these two colors, I don't remember the colors, I should have the band in there, and making a cowl with the Japanese word for peace, because that would be very nice. And maybe I could do it on the front and the back, or I could even, if I wanted to, put my Reiki symbols on the inside, where no one but me could see them. That's what I was thinking of doing. It's kind of like changing it around and making it a cowl. But I am definitely going to not do socks. I'm probably going to do a short cowl with this. Now it's not as stretchy, so I got to make sure it's wide enough to go around my head. But yeah, this is coming off the needles like right now. Let me see if I can get the colors. Do I have the color bands in here? No, I don't. It's Plucky Knitter Feet. Let me get the colors because I know it's on the project page. Hold on. I am looking at my computer right now while you guys are watching me. I'm sorry. My notebook. It is, the gray is Snap Out of It. And this red orange, I didn't put the color. How could I not do that? I hope I have the band around because I hate not having the color. I did their club for a short time last year and it was one of the club colors, but I can't believe I didn't do that. I put color family, but I didn't put the actual color. Let me see if I can read it on the picture. From the picture, it says Plucky Feet. Alice in Wonderland is the inspiration. Colorway is completely bonkers. Inspiration from Alice in Wonderland. Completely bonkers. Okay. Got it. I should update that on my stash. I will remember to do that. So yeah, this is one thing I'm changing. And I gotta get off the needles. So maybe you'll see this on the needle soon. I don't know if I'll definitely be doing it in a larger gauge, a less tight gauge too. I don't know, maybe I should go, I think I have some of this in DK. Maybe I'll do it in DK. Yeah, I think so. All right. Anyway, and maybe I'll make a shawl with this. We'll see. I have some, for me, thrilling news. Oh my, look at that. I should really soak this? I don't know. I am very, very fortunate that I live in where I do. I live pretty much right smack in the middle of some of the most hugest coveted fiber events around. I am like an hour and 20 minutes from Rhinebeck. I am less than an hour from New York City for Vogue Knitting Live and other great events, including their yarn crawl, which is really nice because, you just hop on the subway and there you are. Anyway, I also am I think I'm like 3 hours from Webb's, so I go to their tent sale now, which is awesome. That's where I got my wheel for 20% off, my Lendrum wheel. And I also, I don't think they're doing Stitches East anymore in Hartford, but I was able to go to Stitches East quite a few times. So, but what I do miss out on is the camaraderie, and I get very kind of, not weepy or jealous, not jealous, but just like kind of nostalgic and wishing that I could be a part of the stuff that goes on before and after the show. So I did start staying in New York for Vogue Knitting Live, which was really nice. And I think this year I am going to, with Sharon from Moms with Yarn, we've been talking about renting a house or a room together for Rhinebeck rather than making the trek back and forth each day, which is very doable. Less so for her, but for me. But I've always wanted to do some kind of retreat. I'll tell you the one I've always wanted to do is the knitting camp. I've always wanted to do Meg Swanson's knitting camp, and I just, for one reason or another, I would not do it. And I'm usually once every year I do something kind of like a me trip. Last year, my husband and I did a Reiki class together, a Karuna Reiki class, and that was kind of like our self-investment trip, if you will. Well, this year I am doing knitting camp, and I can't tell you how absolutely excited I am. Like, oh, I don't know how July can come soon enough. And I signed up for the session right after my birthday, which is exciting too. So I paid for it in full, and I am going to order the tickets, and then it's all going to be about saving up money for buying some yarns, because I know she said she's going to be selling yarns. And another thing that I've been wanting to do is jump on the half shawl bandwagon. What's the what's the English podcast that's doing the half shawl knit along? It starts April 10th. Oh, darn it. Now I have to find out. I also signed up for the half shawl class on Craftsy, and I really want to make a half shawl. I have some Jameson DK weight yarn, and I was thinking I could use that. Let me see. It's not Woolful. That's an American one. I'm sorry, my throat is so terribly scratchy. It's not A Playful Day. Oh, shoot. I don't remember. It's not Minerva Turkey, that's for sure. She's in Florida. I will try and find that out. Heartland. I will. Maybe she's not on my iTunes feed, but anyway, there's going to be a half shawl knit along, and I would like to do it. I think it starts April 10th. I know that the Fiber Trek podcast did mention it too. I'm so sorry. Damn. I might have to stick another cough drop in my mouth. I'm sorry. But anyway, I was thinking I might start that in April. And I'm thinking as long as I'm out there and she has all those Gansey yarns and everything and that she sells through Schoolhouse Press, and I'll be able to see all the Jameson colors all together, maybe I'll start thinking about doing another Fair Isle sweater. That's what got me back into the Fair Isle, was all this talk about knitting camp. So I'm real excited about that, and that will be the dream come true for the summer. I might have to skip Vogue Knitting Live, though, if I do this. I don't know. I have kind of like a knitting budget, and I can't see how I can stay in my knitting budget doing knitting camp and Rhinebeck and Vogue Knitting Live. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure I'll go. Anyway. Also, the other thing I wanted to share with you was today, see now I'm all snarled up. Today I did a little bit of spring cleaning. I just cleaned up the closet a little bit, trying to organize it, and I had a mess of knitting magazines in there that I went through. And, trying to figure out what am I going to get rid of, what am I going to keep. And I found a whole bunch of stuff from Grandma Quintel's library. And I wanted to show some of this to you because it's so cool. I'm not going to be able to show you all today, for sure, because she had a lot of stuff. But I have to show you some of her vintage knitting pattern stuff. And what was also really cool was seeing her like little notations and like especially like baby sweater patterns from like the 60s, because she was making them for me or my sisters, and it's just really cool. So let's see here. Oops. Let me just first show you some of the funny 70s stuff. Hold on. This is kind of more 80s. Look at that. Pom Pom City. The little popcorn stitch. This is actually a cute sweater. This is it says gentle prices, new yarns, 40 styles for men, women, and children. Yarn from France. So this is kind of 70s, I think maybe late 70s, early 80s. doesn't have a publication date, or does it? Nope, no publication date. Yeah. Good job. I was getting such a kick out of it. Wait till you see the next one, though. That's the fun one. It's actually a really nice sweater. There's actually some really nice sweaters in here. Oh, wow. Look at this. I like that. There's a little Fair Isle for the guy. Actually, some very nice sweaters in here. Oh, wow. Look at the yoke sweaters. Oh, wow. Very nice. This is actually... I might have to reinterpret these patterns and chart them out and repattern them. Oh my god. That is not a good picture for a knitting magazine. Oh my god. That's like Princess Diana wannabe with the candy apple. Don't go there. Oh my god, that's too funny. So aside from that one, there's a lot of really good patterns in here. I'm going to keep this. It's really good. I'm going to look at this a little more. This is the one that cracked me up. I'm just going to show you. So it's a Good Housekeeping. It does not have a date. It says spring, summer 1972. Okay. Cover's not bad. It's definitely 70s. No. I I wonder if I can find this one advertisement that made me laugh out loud. It was a woman putting on mascara. It was a mascara advertisement, and her eyeshadow was like baby blue. It was really funny. Who is it? Who is this? Is that Audrey Hepburn? No. Is that Breakfast and Tiffany girl? I don't know. I can't figure it out. But this one has some really funny patterns in it. Sorry. I just never, ever in a million years. Sorry. Never, ever. Really? Now, my mom used to crochet dresses and skirts, and I could see her wearing some of these stuff back in the 70s. She actually had a granny square. Sorry. I think that's supposed to be a dog. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. What? Wow. Oh, wow. I don't know. Wow, really, really wild. So, you get the gist. This is 70s stuff. No charts. Very little visual aid. This one, I wanted to show you because she actually made this sweater on the cover here. She made a lot of these for people. Good old garter stitch, right? They were always acrylic. But there's a lot of nice patterns in here. That jacket looks like the EZ jacket, or no, Meg Swanson's jacket. I forget what she called the pattern, but they're really, with a few exceptions, a lot of the stuff my grandmother went for was very traditional. So not a lot of color pictures in here. So you can see there's a little bit of a color work theme there. Aspen ski look. Chart for interchangeable Burnett yarns. Yeah, so not a lot of color shots, unfortunately, but not bad patterns. So this one, definitely I'm keeping. Unfortunately, This is missing some of the pages. Children's Fashion World. Look at my grandmother's math on the front. I don't know what she was trying to figure out, but something with 17,569 or something. But this is another really cool book of little girl sweaters, and she had 3 little granddaughters. There are some little boy sweaters in here too. Let's see. This is cute. So these look like, they had to have been the 60s because that's when my sister was born in 62. So that's when the fun started. Oh, look at this. This is so cute. Look at these boys. Oh, really adorable. Like, I could definitely see these being really popular again. Oh, look at these girls on the tricycles. Yeah, those are really nice sweaters. Really great pattern. So, I don't recognize any per se or remember having them as a kid, but I know we wore lots of grandma sweaters as kids. So none of the pictures are in color. Here's a really cool, interesting one. Looks like a little Intarsia is involved. Oh, the teenage sweetheart look. Ooh. Lots of cool hats. We definitely had tons of hats. So that's this one. Beauty bath for woolen. It's wool care. One advertisement. The Bernat Baby Album, book 187. $1.75. Oh my god. I could probably make these patterns out. Look at this one. This is beautiful. Beautiful. I love the embroidery details. This one I actually remember her making for my kids. Let me find it. She made some sweaters. She was alive when Rachel and Joey's birth. Maybe it wasn't in this book. No, I don't think it was in this book. But she knit them up a lot of beautiful things. And unfortunately, my very vindictive ex-husband destroyed a lot of sentimental, beautiful things that belonged to me when we went through our divorce. And those were some of the things he took and then I never saw again. But this one, we're missing the cover. This one actually has a design on the back here that I'm looking at right now. Look at that design. That's really cool. I'll have to see if I can figure something like that out. Really, really nice. Oh, here's the sweater. She made this set for both of my kids, a boy set and a girl set when they were born. So Joey's was white with blue on the top, and Rachel's was white with pink on the top. She made the bonnet, the booties, and the sweater for each of them. Oh, look at, here's Grandma's handwriting. This is actually this is the pattern for what I just showed you. You can see she would paper clip notes to it. She also wrote on this. That's Grandma Quintel's handwriting. There's a lot in here with my Aunt Judy's handwriting too. My aunt actually, she would buy patterns, but she would knit off of index cards. Let me see if I can find one. Here's one. Probably just show you one more. So these are for baby sweaters. They did a lot of baby sweater knitting, and actually my aunt did commission knitting. I like this one right here. That one's really nice. Really nice stuff. But this is Aunt Judy's handwriting. This is how Aunt Judy knit. Let me take these off. She would do this. And right. And then she would keep track. Baby Vinny Senior. She was probably knitting for someone. Donna, that's my niece. My niece was born when I was in 10th grade. Donna! I have to show her this. Oh, she must have knit Donna a sweater. Oh, Donna's 30-something now. I was in 10th grade when Donna was born. She was the first baby of the next generation, my parents' first grandchild. Makes me want to cry. She's got a little girl now, Amaya. Beautiful little girl. I'll have to show this to her. This is another one with really gorgeous sweaters. There's a lot of knit-worthy stuff in here. I might have to... I wonder, like, the legalities. Like, if I wrote these up, could I give it away? If I rewrote the patterns for them to be more modern? Anybody know if that's allowed? I know I could do whatever I want for myself since I own the book, but, like, could I put it on Ravelry, like a free pattern, so other people could knit them? Look at that. I mean, really, really gorgeous stuff. So that's just a smidgen of them, but I'm kind of running on time, so we'll show you some more later. Oh, you know what I'll show you real quick? I don't know if, I've ever talked. I know I talk about my parents, and I have my parents live upstate New York, and mom and pa. But I don't know if I've ever mentioned that when I talk about my father, he's not my real father. He's my stepfather. My real dad died when I was little, and Grandma Quintel and Aunt Judy. Grandma Quintel was my real father's mom, and Aunt Judy was his sister. My dad died of cancer and was bedridden for a lot of the last few years of his life. He couldn't really move around much because he had cancer in his bones, so he had a lot of problems with bone strength and whatnot. So once he had to stop working and he couldn't really walk around much, he took up needlepoint, and this was my dad's book. And I remember after Dad died, we gave this book to Aunt Judy and Grandma because they did this kind of stuff. But my dad, my real father, used this book to be creative. He was also an artist. He did a lot of charcoal paintings. And my sister Kim has a lot of, he did them and he made pillows out of them. Like my mom would sew them and make them up into pillows. But, yeah, I mean, he just kind of made up his own stuff, too, his own designs, and just knit whatever he wanted. He made a lot of pillows, and, God, it was really, when I saw this, it was kind of like a tearjerker at first, knowing that my real father kind of held this book in his hands kind of thing. I know. That's very sentimental and stuff, but I don't remember him a lot. And what I do remember wasn't really fun to remember because he was so sick with the cancer. I was 11 when he died, and it was rough. It was a tough, the last 4 years of his life were really tough. And this is one of the things he did to get through it. He also left journals, and he talked about how that kind of thing helped him relax and help him feel better and help him feel like he was creative. So that's it. I guess I don't really have anything else to talk about. Surprise, because I've talked about a lot. I will show you more of Grandma's books every now and then. And I don't know, but if people would want, like, copies of stuff, am I allowed to do that? I don't know. If anybody knows something, because these are like from the 60s, and they were published by yarn companies that don't exist anymore, so I don't know if I'd be allowed to do that. I would love to be able to, because there are some really, really nice patterns in here, and yeah, I don't know. If you know anything, let me know. So that's it for now. I really thank you guys for joining me again. And again, thank you so much for being patient about the Adopt a Senior. I am going to be persistent about that. And if I don't get any cooperation back, maybe I'll go to a different nursing home and try it there, just so we can get it going. And I thank you all. I will see you in 2 weeks. I'm going upstate to my parents' house next weekend for Pa's birthday. My stepfather, who he's my father, in every way. That's important. It's his 79th birthday next week on Friday. So I'm going upstate to